I usually catch about a third of them, if that.
It's amazing. I know it. Like you don't quite like. There's something, and I don't know what sort of thing, and then when you find out, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, it's completely obvious, but like until you know, there's just like that. What is it? There's something there.
Exactly.
So yeah, we are live. Wonderful.
All right.
Everybody, welcome to the chat. See if more people join, but in the meantime, this is an excellent little group. It's nice, like cozy, intimate. Got a couple of viewers jumping on already. Welcome everybody who's watching.
Logan. There you are, Logan. How's it going, Logan?
Oh, he might not be able to hear us, or he might not be able to have a.
Okay.
Wait. Oh.
You hear it? I don't have my headphones.
There he is. Hey, man. It's nice to meet you. Welcome. Hey. I'm gonna pull this up just in case. Also, I know that like when we do our videos on our YouTube page, normally it says like this, channel is live now, and you can like go to the video, and then they have like a chat box, and like people who are watching can like say things and say hello. But it's strange because
it's there.
Can you like send a link for that? Because I don't even see like the video that we're on right now is not appearing on YouTube. Wait, hold on.
It took a second. Just hit refresh.
I did.
Because I kept getting asked for links to this show, so I was waiting on you to hit broadcast so I could snag the link, and it didn't show the first time I hit refresh. It did the second time. It was weird.
Let me do it. Yeah, try here.
You got it, or you want me to send you the link?
I don't even know what's happening. Yeah, here's
I'll send it over.
Full moon in July. Okay, hold on. I think I got it.
Okay.
Health is good. Comments, live chat. Just health is good. No. That's the stream status. The health is good. The stream is good. But the title is full moon in July. Although I liked like last month, it was very rhymey. Full moon in June.
Yeah, it was.
Full moon in June. So yeah, we've got a little live chat here. So Capricorn moon in July. There we go. Cool.
Oh, did you get it?
If you're on the live chat, if you're watching, we have a little window up, and we'll be able to see what you say. So awesome. Let's see if I can make it bigger. There we go. Just flowing with it. All right. Where do we start? Should we do a meditation?
Yes, I love doing meditations.
Cool. Me too. Well, I know, Aaron, you had mentioned you had a specific plan. Would you like that to be the intro or the outro?
Yeah, let's do that as the intro, because that one will be really fun. And then if you guys want to take the outro, that'd be cool.
Perfect.
It's actually very appropriate that you're wearing that shirt, because the mantra that I had in mind here was the one, Joshua, we were talking about in our Slack conversations about the Shivaya mantra and the Ganesh mantra. And so I wanted to do the Ganesh one, because, well, A, the elephant here, but B, like the energy of it is like a really fun, it's a simple concept, but it's just a really good mantra. I know that I hadn't like explained it verbally through the Slack yet, so I figured I'd just go through it now and we would do the mantra together. How's that sound?
That's awesome. It's synchronous, actually. I keep running into Ganesha, like I was saying the other day, and I just had another Ganesha picture scroll across my phone about an hour ago. So this is awesome.
The universe speaks.
Yeah. The remover of obstacles. Let him come.
Absolutely. So the mantra, as I know the pronunciation, is Om Jara Shri Ganesha. Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh. And the translation, as I know it, is the all-pervading Ganesh, meaning like picture the energy of the elephant. And this is the visualization that I was given during this mantra of a massive elephant walking through the jungle. It's not going to stop and move the branches or trees out of its way. It just keeps pushing forward. It's not necessarily moving fast, but it is not stopping. And regardless of the obstacle in its way, it holds a resonance for what it is and where it's going. And without an energy of rushing or without an energy of the chaos that we often experience, this one here is just a very pervading, will continue, will not stop, and will find its way. So the mantra to me as we meditate on this is, how am I staying grounded in the energy that I need to hold right now, and how am I pushing this forward or moving with it as we go? So I was doing meditation on this the other night, and as I did, I would realize all my thoughts were sort of trying to impede the march of the elephant. But I was the elephant in this and would continue keeping my focus where it needed to go, step by step, breath by breath, holding that energy and moving it forward. So as we meditate here, you can picture yourself as an elephant and all of your thoughts as being branches that are sort of in your path. And you could use them to say, I will stay in my focus and I will keep this energy and I will stay where I need to be, strong and moving forward. So we can take a moment now, closing our eyes, paying attention to our breath. Visualizing the energy of the elephant, Ganesh. The power and the force, with love and a gentle, slow-moving nature. Focus. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri
Ganesh.
Jara Shri
Jara Shri.
Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara
Shri Ganesh. Jara Shri Ganesh.
Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh, Om Jara Shri Ganesh. Om. Om. Turning your awareness into your body, aware of your breath, aware of the energy of the all-pervading Ganesha within you, empowering you to move forward, all-pervading, diligent, towards our goals. Okay. The mantra of Ganesh.
Cool. Thank you.
Namaste.
That was great. That was very relieving too. Very relaxing. Very
What was that, Morgan?
strong. What? Oh, I was saying that it felt very relaxing and relieving, and it felt like a lot of release of strains, especially in the throat chakra and the lungs, as it seemed. It's just my take.
Well,
Great. That's very good. As a side thing, just for you guys, could we move this side this couch up just a hair? Potentially a little bit, and we can like get a little bit closer, a little more cozy. That works really well because it just frames the thing a little bit. You know, the videographer and me. So, yeah, thank you. That was really good. That was very, very nice, very relaxing, and very like just
Very grounding.
oh.
we are moving forward.
I love actually also that in some of the comments here, you know, upon opening my eyes, I'm seeing a lot of just really like positive and uplifting messages. So it's, you know, I often wonder, you know, like for the people who are tuning in, or like if someone was to like click into being like, what is this thing? And they come in and have no idea what's going on, and everyone's just sort of like sitting there or oming or saying, you know, like a mantra. If it's like confusing for anybody, or people are like, what is this, or like, that's weird, or you know, and but like to see a lot of people being like, hey, that was awesome, I felt really good, or you know, thank you for caring. There's a good one there. There's it's really good.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's pulling the higher perspective down and grounding it.
Definitely. I think that's it's part of the secret.
I think that's a great description for it. It's difficult to maintain the issues that hold us back from growth if we're quickly pulling that higher perspective down and grounding it into who we are. So I like that perspective.
I view it as like a one branch at a time sort of analogy. Like, if you do one thing today that helps move you forward, then you're making progress. And so it's the cumulative of that. A lot of times when you look at the very big picture, you see the thousands and thousands of things you could be doing, and the energy can become overwhelming very easily. But when you ground that I'm going to be moving forward energy and the one thing at a time, it becomes very easy to just sort of like de-stress that and go, I will focus on the thing that I need to focus on in this moment and allow the rest of it to come in the exact perfect time when it needs to be there. And it always does. And so as soon as you ground that energy and the things are falling into place and you're just like, oh, this is actually as difficult as I thought it was going to be, or my initial idea of this was going to be that it was difficult. It's not anymore.
There's a line in the Hermetica that describes like that when you experience like a direct connection to the all, to God, or whatever you would like to call it, it like can hit you like a torrent of energy that's so strong, like 100,000 times more intense than like being blasted with the strongest fire hose kind of thing, you know, and like it instantly strips away any sense or semblance of self that you have and just like disintegrates it and dissolves it. So it makes sense then that like it's, you know, one, it's like difficult to tap into that because of how intense it is, and then like all these different meditations and mudras and mantras and everything, practices in general, really are all designed to like give you like, you know, this tiny little fraction of the of that fire hose, and even then it's still intense, and you're like, okay, I really felt like that was strong, right? And it's like you have no idea compared to what's available.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like one little branch at a time. If we try and like eat a tree rather than like eat one of the little pieces of fruit on the tree or a leaf or a berry or something like that, you know, it's two entirely different experiences. Logan, you just made a comment and said your audio should be working. You want to give us a test?
Can't hear a thing.
Can't hear you, but can see you, and that's a good start.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey, we got you there.
Yeah, I just heard you. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, yeah, I guess I just gotta hope nobody busts in. I turned the Bluetooth speaker off, and so now I kind of got a
Totally, that's great. Yeah. I don't think we've ever had you on the call before. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
All right. Started trying to pinpoint when I really started my journey. It was actually one of your videos. You know how people kind of take long presentations. They'll clean them up for the audio a little bit. They'll maybe shorten some unnecessary parts out. Well, you're a hidden history movie on South somewhere. Yeah, it was supposed to be called South somewhere. And I was already heavily questioning that thing at that point because I was raised Christian and I stuck for it. What happened was I watched that thing beginning to end. Like I couldn't I couldn't go back after that. There was something else out there. I'd already believed. Everything. I was starting to suspect that what I had been told was that, and then over the next probably 2 weeks, here. So that was pretty much it, and then shortly thereafter, we've been going for a while. Though we had to take a break for the holidays. Pretty much it.
Cool. Okay. So I will say that like there's still something going on with your audio where your microphone goes between like really loud and really quiet like every like I don't know 3 seconds or 4 seconds. So like I want to say I think we got like the big picture of what you said, but there were some details in there that were missed. But thank you for sharing. And yeah, like I know. I just it's cool to hear that like the like the human history movie and spirit science has had that effect on so many people, because it was like there was that material that had that same effect on me, and I just was like I have to put this into a thing, and like I'm so glad that it was received well.
Well, they're working better now. I modified the settings a little bit.
Yeah, so far, definitely, yeah.
Nice.
So,
So what inspired you to do like the material from the human history movie? A lot of that I think was from Grunwald's works.
Was from Grunwald's work, actually. Yeah, that was the big. Well, I mean, I had like waves of like OMG in my conscience, like waves of just realization and like layers really of going from like the first thing was like I met like I actually went to this like meetup thing that was with my like through some friends that I knew at college, where they were like, yeah, it's like a designer programmer sort of digital multimedia meet and greet sort of thing, and I was like, okay, and like kind of went not really knowing what to expect, and there was all these people there who were just like, here's my card, here's my business, here's my card, and I was just like, I don't know what to do with these, and I don't really want to be here. And then there was this one girl who was actually just sort of sitting kind of like on her own, having she was having a conversation or whatever, and then like it kind of stopped, and I was like, what do you think about all this, right? And we kind of started talking, and then turns out like she's not there for the same reason. Like she's like a Reiki practitioner, and like
nice.
like into energy and chakras and crystals and healing and all this stuff. And she's just like telling me, she's like, did you ever know about like crystals having energy? And I was like, no, tell me more, and like we started talking, and the result of like that meetup, like I went and visited her and her friends, like at her roommates and whatnot, and like the results of all of that, I mean, there was just basic like, oh yeah, crystals and everything like that, and then here, go and watch The Secret. You have to go and see The Secret. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. And I like went home and I watched it, and it like that was probably the first, like, I mean, like, the meeting was like the sparking of the interest, but watching The Secret was like in my consciousness instantaneously, like changed the way that I looked at everything. Like I just started seeing and looking at how thoughts, I mean, everybody's constantly thinking and feeling, and these thoughts and feelings are radiating out and making our actions and dictating our lives, and I was just like, it instantly was like, I'm gonna be in a great mood all the time. There's like, I mean, why wouldn't I would just create the best life ever. And I had some lessons to learn about that and the nature of integration and different layers of emotional depth and what have you. But that really kind of got me. I started learning about chakras and crystals and astral projection and lucid dreaming and like all of those kind of things. But I had no idea about sacred geometry or ancient history or ascension or any of those things. So that was like kind of the three layers, if you will, like the secret, this like waves and waves of learning towards being able to comprehend Drunvalo's material, and then like that was like the next thing was my mom was like, you know that here's a book that you might like, and I was like, okay, and I opened it up, and like it was volume 2, and like the first page is like, deep underneath the Sphinx there is like a room called the Halls of Amenti with a flower of life that is like the consciousness of all of life on the planet, and I was like,
yeah.
Holy shit, you know, like, what is this? And it just like took off, and I just like probably spent 2 or 3 months every day, nonstop, all the time. Like before, I might be like, I'd get home from, I was going to college at the time. I'd get home from college and I'd be like, either playing a video game or working on a cartoon or a video game, working on a video game, like, because I was making games at that time on Newgrounds. But like, that book consumed my entire life, and I read them both over and over, like front to back, and then I would just like get home and open it and just read a page, and then just spend like an hour thinking about it, and then go and do it again and again, until it got to the point where it was just moving through me of like, you have to put this into, like, I really want to put this into a video series. If the world knew this, like if people knew this stuff, like this would change everything. And then like the name Spirit Science kind of happened in my mind, and I was like, that's the name of it. That's what it's called.
Your mom introduced you to Drunvalo initially?
Yeah, and I was mad at her for a bit,
goodness.
being like, how long have you had these books? And she's like, I told you about them one time and you didn't like them. And I was like, I don't remember that.
I have no idea.
My mom is actually ridiculously spiritual and has kept it a secret from me my entire life, because she was like, he has to find it on his own.
Oh my God.
And I was like, if you introduced me to this when I was a child, and she was like, everybody would have made fun of you. Like, it was like, it's like, this is like not stuff that people talk about. And I was like, get it, but it could have helped so much, Like, so I also want to say welcome, David. Hey, thank you for joining.
Hi.
Hello.
I know what that's like, actually. Like when I finally came into it, it was like, why does this feel so right all of a sudden? Like, why does this seem like the answer that I've been looking for and everything? Yeah, and everybody looked at me like I had 2 heads and whatnot, but
yeah, they do that to me too. I'm actually military, so you can understand how that feels. People look at me like I'm a lunatic sometimes. Like, what is this stuff you're talking about? Right?
Like, isn't it almost better just being a theist or something, to go with a religion in the branches? Or
yeah, I actually I found a few people. You find a few people in the Army here and there who are into this stuff, and they understand this whole stuff, but it's difficult sometimes trying to connect with people.
But I can imagine that you're bringing, even if it's like a hard, to make that communication, you're shining light in an area that really there's not a lot of like that level of awareness.
It is very dark. It's like if you read the Chronicles of Narnia, it's like the last battle when they throw the dwarves into the hut, and the dwarves think there's nothing there, and it's all dark. It's like seeing a bunch of people sitting around in thinking they're in a dark cave, and you're sitting there shining a light saying, hey, you see it? And they don't see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, like, thank you for doing that and being there and shining that light. I want to actually ask, were you aware of like all of this stuff going into the military, or were you already in the military and then you woke up and were like, holy crap?
I am actually Mormon, and I joined the military as a Mormon, so it's kind of a spiritual side there. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into the Mormon faith that's similar to some of the stuff that you've been saying, like very, very similar to some of the stuff you've been saying, and also very similar to the stuff that Corey Good has been saying that Rod Terrier has been trying to bring about or bring across the messages that they're trying to bring about. The law of one. I don't know if you've read that,
Yeah.
but it's very, very similar to that. And so, do you know a guy named Jordan Sather? I guess he's written for you, or
I've told you, my grandma and mom actually found him on YouTube a while ago. He works with Collective Evolution a little bit and is very into uncovering like secret space stuff. He's great, really smart, super like scientifically, whatever.
His videos. I actually got into this while going to a class in the military. I spoke with someone who was in class with me about all this crazy stuff I was listening to. I was hearing stuff from Dr. Greer, stuff from Nassim Haramein, but that was after this guy showed me a video of your alternate history of the Earth, the hour-long, I think episode 12. So I saw that, and that is what, I kind of plugged my nose and jumped into the rabbit hole and saw how far it went.
Amazing. I love hearing stories like that. And, everyone's different, like, awakening story. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's...
what's funny when you start out?
It's interesting.
Sorry, there's two going at once. What did you say, Logan?
I said, what's interesting when you start out, because you're still sort of in your old faith just a little bit, you almost, you keep telling yourself, like, it's God that would want you to keep doing this. Because it sounds like his voice and everything, you just don't know how to make the distinction quite yet. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
I do. I know what you're saying.
I come from a very devout Mennonite Christian background and had been raised extremely religious on that regard up until I started questioning the church itself as a result of the actions of some of these members. And then this paradigm sort of opened up a little bit. And I know that there's truth there, but I also know that there is sort of like an influence of human error, I would call it, an understanding. And I want to say that my journey has uncovered that almost exists in absolutely every faith and every belief system that you can find. It has that truth nested within it, shrouded by a couple layers of people like interpreting it and reinterpreting it, and that conversation still goes.
I think I can speak to that and say that the reason for that is because all the religions are just reflections of the human. And so like, it's really like, because there's truth here in everybody, but then there's also all of this like ego and personality and mind that gets in the way, right? So it's like, it's not so much about the religion, but the individual and like the openness to explore the infinite multitude of practices that are available when you become aware that it's more than just the one thing that you've been told is true since you were a child.
I wanted to say something about the when you're new into a new belief system, and sometimes it can feel a little difficult as you're having all those thoughts crop up from your past religion. You never leave that behind. It's always going to be inside your mind, right? But you have practiced as a regular habit thinking those thoughts and thinking within that paradigm's framework of thought. So the more that you crawl outside of your own paradigm, the more that you're going to be presented with situations and events that you don't really have a frame of reference for. So it becomes the unknown, and when we face the unknown, our instinctive reaction is to retreat within ourselves and follow a known course of action until we find our center.
Yep, that's exactly right. But you know, as you go out and adventure out, you will eventually start learning stuff. You start changing those pathways in your head, those neuron pathways, the ones that were built up. You start creating new ones, and the old ones, they don't get used as much. They start to die away. And, you know, it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it's all about whatever you practice repeatedly. That's what you'll be great at. So if you change your thoughts and you repeatedly go back to being open, then you're going to find that more easy.
Yeah, that's true.
Very well said.
I love all of you. I hope you know that.
Oh, so much love. This is like such a wonderful like group and community, and there's so many people who like, you know, it's like every 2 weeks, you know, we're always like meeting new people and connecting and seeing the different levels of, you know, like the different synthesis of people. I want to use alchemy. I don't know if that applies, you know, but yeah.
Alchemy always applies.
Yeah. Well, that was sort of an joke there. We're working on this tarot deck called Patch Tarot, which is really coming together, and that's like my focus this past week has been like building and like writing and just like kind of getting the finalized versions of the booklets that come along with it, as well as like the descriptions on the website down pat, and then making any final changes on the cards so that we can just say, hey, it's done, print it, go, you know. But like there was one card which in other decks are called either art or temperance, which I had called alchemy because I was trying to come up with like a name for like the synthesis and fusion of an integration of different elements and materials within the self and then the expression of that out. But there was like this conversation that happened with Aaron and our friend Benoit, who was like, I don't know if alchemy works for that card specifically because alchemy applies to the entire tarot and especially like the major arcana. And I was like, no, I really like alchemy. Just as a background, him in a second, we got a new guy. So, but when you know alchemy, it is the alchemy of all the different people connecting and working and talking together, which is really cool. And the expression of it, and which is just like we're all unique, you know, like unique fractals of source of spirit. But it's the same spirit that moves through all of us, whether it's Jesus or a homeless man on the street. We're all one. And so this is like such a nice array of people. It's an honor to know you all.
Indeed.
You know, thanks for bringing up homeless man, because I've noticed something. Like I've known friends that have been on the street for a few years at a time, whatever, living out of their car. Notice the way they seem to survive is either they get really, really tough and really, really inward and frankly just sort of dark, or they realize that even though they don't have close friends nearby or their family is 1,000 miles away, that there is love just flowing everywhere, always, constantly, and you know that's good enough for them. They get up, they're alive, they see a child on the street holding its mother. Like, you know what? That's okay. That's perfectly fine. I can make it as long as something there that is always there. Matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Sometimes you find like you'll meet some homeless people are like they've been disillusioned to the system that everyone else is trying to live in. You know, I gotta make money, I gotta do this, I gotta like have my image or whatnot, and they're like let go of all of it. Hey, and like you have like a more deeper connection looking into their eyes than you do with most of the people that you'll meet on the bus or walking down the street, because most people are like all in their mental world of like, I gotta go do this, I have this thing that's causing anxiety, I've got this going on or whatnot, and like that goes away when you don't have to worry about it. They're just like, I'm in this moment. If I'm hungry, I'll figure it out. If I need to sleep, I'll figure it out. And like otherwise, they're just present. Not all, because some are still in that, but it happens. I also really quickly want to say welcome to your username is Otaku. I don't know if that's your real name, but welcome to the group, brother.
Appreciate it.
Welcome.
It's been had one pretty rough last 21st birthday yesterday, so it's been all over the place for me the last 2 days, and just trying to get my body going back to what it's usually on, because never does it ever consume any much more than 1 ounce of alcohol. So trying to get everything good, and I'm happy to be here and talk to you guys. I was
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I was at a full moon party last night, and it was amazing. I met so many awesome people, and I met so many people with great talents, and we got to do some fire spinning and did a lot of poi. And
I'm also a fire spinner. That's awesome.
Oh my God!
We all have to get together and do it.
I'm a glover, and so I traded some shows for some fire spinners for some gloving, and we both had amazing time sharing and connected. Oh, that's amazing. So I'm that's how long have you been going?
2014. I've been doing the devil sticks, and I just started the poi about a year ago.
Awesome.
So.
Oh, nice. I know, Jordan, you do some fire spinning too, right?
Yeah, I love it. The first time I spun poi was 2011, and then sort of like sporadically over time, but now it's sort of a regular thing. And like I got this guy actually, well, and then yeah, like we all kind of do it now. And it's yeah.
Nah, yeah, that's awesome. I'm pretty excited and happy that all the people I met, and now there's a yoga practice every Thursday where we come and they do meditating for the first 30 minutes, and then yoga for about another 30. And then everyone who stays after does like aerobic yoga, stack lining. They have poi, all kind of flow. Anyone who has any kind of flow is welcome. And it's just awesome because the people there are just so friendly and willing to help and show anybody how to do anything.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Hey man, I'm curious about something real quick, if you don't mind. Can you rent a car where you are now that you're 21, or do you got to wait till you're 25?
I think it's 21. From last time I checked, that you can rent a car if you're 21.
I
I don't know if it is 25. In Arizona, I do know it's 21.
Oh yeah, in Arizona it's 21, I think.
Huh.
Didn't know that. I'm in Arizona right now.
Hey, you guys can meet up and go and fire spin.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It's in Tempe. It's in Tempe every Thursday.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's like down the street from ASU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
I used to live in Flagstaff.
Oh. It's way better there than here. We're finally getting down to the 108.
Yeah, it was 100. It was like 119 or something crazy like yesterday and the day before.
That's so insane.
Now it's 95. It's like way down.
Yeah, it's the once the full moon was out, it's like all the temperature dropped, and
yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too today. I was kind of like, am I? Is this right? I mean, wasn't it like 119 yesterday?
Oh, I mean, I've been there during that weather, and that's insane. I mean, and it's funny because here, like we're in Winnipeg in Canada, and it's like it's starting to get to the point of the warm, the hot of Winnipeg, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty warm, but like comparatively, it's actually quite cool.
What's interesting. So my first duty station was Alaska, and I was in the center of the state, Fairbanks, and it would get down to -40 to -60 below zero.
Oh wow!
Oh my
You probably
God.
know about that. You probably know about how cold it gets, and then we would get the Chinook winds, which would come up from the south and bring warm air up. So it would go from like -40 to like positive 30, and then back down to -40 again. And then from there was El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss, where it gets up to 100 and something.
Nice.
That
Yeah,
was, I know about both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what time frame do you guys start? Because I know it's at 11:11, and I barely woke up not too long ago, and I was like 9:40 is not 11:11.
we're Central Time here.
Oh, okay. So are you guys like 2 hours ahead of us? I'm gonna assume.
Yeah.
Well, you're in Arizona, so you guys don't have daylight savings time, so you guys fluctuate.
Yeah, it's almost 10 right now. So
Well, yeah, so it's like 11:57 now, and usually we just go for anywhere between an hour and about an hour and a half. Sometimes in really like engaging calls, we'll go and we'll end up going for 2. But yeah, it's kind of free flow. We'll probably go at least another 20 minutes or so. I mean, it's really dependent on like the vibe. It happens very naturally. So like as long as there's engaging conversations, there's not really a problem. And like eventually too, we'll have to go regardless, because at 2 o'clock, from 2 till 3 every Sunday, we actually do a singing bowl section ceremony, sound healing thing, which is really fun at a local yoga studio and yoga meditation studio that we're connected with. And so it's tons of fun, and we're just we'll have to roll out in like an hour plus a little bit if this call goes that long. But either way, it's all just like we're just flowing.
I'm not sure how the sound quality would go through, but it'd be really fun to do a live broadcast too of our singing bowl.
oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be.
Listen to the sounds for an hour as we play.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, I might have to
I
take
thought
the
he did do that
headphones
at
off.
one point.
This is interesting. Someone, Soulfire39 on the comments just wrote, "Hello, Soulfire," and everybody else who's commenting. Says, "Okay, I don't believe in their healing powers, but singing bowls are a beautiful thing." And I was like, "That's a perfect opportunity," because I kind of want to talk about this. Because like, I watched that like Bill Nye Saves the World thing, and he like tore into healing power with crystals and metaphysical things. And sound healing was one of them and I was just watching it going like, I feel like we need a little bit more balanced perspective on this, because we know that sound has tremendous powers, and we actually use sound in like hospitals, like sonic therapy to like you can like break up hello, yeah, we can see you. But they use sound vibrations to actually like break up kidney stones and stuff like that. So like first we have a medical use of sound, and then on the cool kind of science side, we're using sound to levitate objects. That's also happening. So
I like to.
as far as like, oh sorry, go for it. What?
I just wanted to confirm what you were saying. For those of you out there who don't believe in sound's healing effect, Harvard Medical School published April 14, 2015, Music as Medicine, the Impact of Healing Harmonies. And there's a lot of other studies where the scientists are truly actually studying music, tones, harmonies, and the effects on overall health, instead of targeting a specific frequency that will tune to a specific gene. Because that's actually how one of the 2 methods we use for genetic manipulation is sound, to move the gene from one spot to another.
Brilliant. So
Something to say on this a little bit. I call them, or I hear of them being called Shill Nye the Science Lie.
Wow.
that's actually from Jordan Sather. That's on one of his Destroying the Illusion episodes. He was like, it was Bill Nye, what's the other guy? The guy who does the Star Talk. What's his name?
Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse. Yeah, he's like, what does he call him? deGrasse Tyson and Chill Nye the Science Lie.
Wow.
I've seen
I used to really love Bill Nye. Like, back
Yeah.
then, like, I used,
Yeah.
I used to watch
I used
as
to
a
think
kid.
that he was just amazing until it just slowly started shifting to where I was just like, oh, come on, man. Like, I know you obviously see some of these things are happening. Like,
Oh, he does.
don't
Maybe
just
not.
ignore it.
He
No,
may
he
not
does.
see it.
I can guarantee you he does, but he's been told not to care about them. He's being paid. It's like what's that guy who made the Cosmos series? What's his name?
Morgan Freeman?
Carl Sagan?
Yes,
Sagan,
Carl
or-
Sagan. Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Sagan. He was actually on the CIA payroll. Do you guys know about that?
Mhm.
That makes sense.
He was on the CIA's payroll. He got caught
Wow.
doing something in college, and getting his PhD or his master's or something, whatever it was. He got caught doing this something, and they caught him and said, "All right, well, we won't tell anyone about it, and we'll give you a lucrative contract if you start denying the existence of UFOs and aliens and extraterrestrials and all this stuff. You start denying it, and then put out your own series, which will be our narrative."
Wow.
But he did. The whole Cosmos series is about his someone else pushing their narrative through him, and so Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson are also in that group. They're also putting, and I can guarantee you that they've seen some of this stuff. But they're being paid not to say anything about it, and possibly even being forced not to. Yeah, that's my take on it.
It's what's really interesting was that I really wanted to love the new Cosmos series, and there were actually aspects of it that I thought were really good. But there were other aspects which I was like, hold on. Like, they were showing that, like, there's this guy from way back, 1,000 years ago or some time ago during like the Dark Ages, who like proposed this new theory of God as the infinite all of the universe and creation, and that like the universe is infinite and everything like that. And the way that they showed it was actually like taking, it was all animated. They had this character who's like, they like locked him up in jail or whatever, and then he like rose out of his body, had like, they actually like animated an astral projection. He went out into the universe, saw this infinite expanse of everything. It completely changed his life, came back down, started preaching and talking about it, and then like after that scene, Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, and this man had a lucky guess, which turned out to be right. And it was like, that's very contradictory.
That's a lucky guess.
A lucky guess? And that's what you're gonna
That's where you go with, right? A lucky guess.
Well, it's cognitive dissonance and perceptual bias at play. That's really what it is. When something's unfamiliar, you block it off as unknown, and you rationalize it away in something that is familiar. It's like I was talking about earlier. It applies in these senses as well, and even in a societal sense. When you don't know what the answer is, the smartest thing to do is continue moving things as they are and quietly look into it. And I imagine that that's got to be where a lot of the motivation for secrecy originated. Now, do I know why or any of that? I don't have any inside information. I'm just thinking of this rationally. Why would you keep something like that a secret? Why would you not put it out on the front paper? Well, I don't know about you, but when I had deep realizations about fundamental nature of reality being different than what I was taught in school, it blew me away. There were a lot of deep things to consider. And if you did that to, how many, 700 million people in the American populace or 7 billion people worldwide, I gotta imagine that people would flip out.
323 million people in the U.S.
Thank you. I don't know where I got 700 million.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
we don't even have close to 500 million people here.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about something that just came up. Something you guys were talking about secrecy. So, has any of you guys watched the series Cosmic Disclosure?
Heard of
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Some of you guys have. Jordan, you definitely need to watch this series.
I
You
think
definitely need to
Gaia.
watch this series. Yeah, it's on Gaia.
Okay.
Do you have
Gaia,
an account with Gaia?
I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm very familiar with them.
Yeah, so you definitely need to watch Cosmic Disclosure. You know who David Wilcock is, right?
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah, so he's interviewing Corey Good about this guy who said he was in the secret space program for 20 years, and then possibly 2 other terms that he did as well. But he's relating all this stuff, and they're talking about that this guy actually has met Ra. That's something like that. That's like he's met him several times, like many times. And they talk about these, giant blue spheres and the blue avians and stuff like that. This is deep down the rabbit hole stuff. But the message they send is it's the message of Law of One. Actually, when they first came into the system, someone asked if they were if he was Ra from the Law of One, or Ra Terrier. My name is Ra Terrier. Didn't specifically state if he was or if he wasn't. It just, but yeah.
I'm losing you.
Yeah, it's slightly cutting out.
We're seeing some comments.
Okay. Well, there's something.
Philip, can you mute your microphone?
Oh, yeah.
I also wanted to just quickly say welcome, Philip. We actually didn't really get to say hi because there's been so much conversation happening. But he jumped in a little bit ago, and I just wanted to say welcome. I don't think I've seen you on the calls before, so it's nice to meet you.
Hi, Phil.
I think
He's
he
like,
just told
"Darn,
me
I'm
mute.
muted."
Because he just told the mute, and he's like, oh, I had to unmute.
Well, I hope he didn't like mute his audio too, so I can't hear us.
So there was something I wanted to bring up, which was something Corey Good was saying, which was if you've heard of these reptilians that are supposed to be running around somewhere.
Yeah.
I heard about it. Oh yeah, she's the one who talked about this.
Okay. So what Corey was saying is these reptilians have been infected by nanites, which are being controlled by an AI carrier signal. I listened to this, and I try to draw, so I'm Mormon, and I've learned a lot of stuff from that, and a lot of things happen. I know that there is definitely a force that's acting, right around acting for good, for our betterment. But I also know there's definitely a force that's running around for our detriment as well. So one for good and one for bad. You listen to to what he's saying about what's going on, and then you listen about what's happening in the Bible in Genesis. About the spirit of Satan entered. And I'm sorry to go on a religious tangent here, but I'm just relating a story. All right. So they say that the spirit of Satan entered into the snake, and then the snake told Eve what to do. Right. So the thing is, these things that there was a carrier signal from AI that infected these reptilians, and now these reptilians are telling humans what to do, and it's kind of makes me wonder if this is just a way of wording it in a way that people can understand it. If they can't understand it a certain way, you try to give it in the most bland, generic way possible. To understand it, and when you finally understand the real details, maybe you're. I don't know if I'm breaking up some more.
It's a little bit, but I'm just thinking about it.
Follow.
But I'll say just from my kind of experiences, like there was a time when I was interested in that a little bit. I mean, like more so, you know, like with like different like controlling entities and whatnot. But then it really kind of hit me on the nature of like, it really depends where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So like what you give your attention to is ultimately what steers your life and draws your actions and your attention and whatnot. Right. If you're putting your focus into like all of these controlling, manipulative energies that are taking over the world, then you're going to continually be confronted by, you know, seeing and experiencing all these things that are controlling you and manipulating you, and you're going to start to like want to rail against that, and it's going to like cause friction within your consciousness and not ultimately be very fun. But then also on the other side, if you turn your attention to love and compassion and your ascension, your, you know, raising your consciousness, being, and I want to use the word Christ, but I don't want to have it attached specifically to the Christian dogma. But that Christ itself, like the ascended self, the higher heart, but like embodying that, the spirit of that fully, then it doesn't matter what, I mean, if you reach, you know, the higher and higher states that you reach, you're no longer affected by these controlling manipulative influences in your life. And on top of that, now you have an even greater ability to shine the light for others. And so when you see someone else who's like, you know, there's all these things causing all this problem, all this war, all this violence, all this, you know, controlling reptilians or Illuminati or conspiracies or what have you, you can just look at them and like give them a big smile and a big hug, and like the energy from that, the energy from the wisdom that's moving through you is so pure and so bright that it helps break them free, because they're feeling that so intently from you, and now they begin to raise their consciousness too and raise their spirits and whatnot. So you know, like all of the topics of aliens and conspiracies and reptiles and stuff, I mean, they're fun to talk about and whatnot, but my personal philosophy is not to stay there really, and not to give it too much more attention rather than just being like, yeah, that's a thing, and this is the direction that I want to go.
Y'all remain Ganesh.
I found you guys actually because I was doing research for a novel I'm working on dealing with conspiracies and aliens, and I found the Hidden Human History movie, and that was my first experience with you as well. But it was research trying to find conspiracies, and then I found you guys, and I was like, well, but no, some of that I actually know. So, well, maybe they're not crazy. Let me check out the rest of their videos. And then I'm like, oh, you guys are talking about everything I'm always talking about. This is really cool and completely unrelated to my fiction story I'm working on, but I'm going to keep watching them. And then I dug in and I read the rest of it. But I'm with you 110% on that, Jordan, because I think that, like you said, where the attention goes, the energy flows. So if the universe is additive, if the law of attraction, you know, is the case, if the law of one is the case, then everything is real if I choose to focus on it. And the more I focus on it, the more evidence I'm going to find of it, and the more of that type of energy I'm going to draw into my own life. So whether there is in fact an nanite-controlled reptilian alien sitting next to me, or if I believe that person is such, the effect will be the same for me and my life. So I would rather believe that I am one with everyone, and not focus on my fear of everyone. And so that's kind of where I take that. But I do love conspiracy theories. I love to write about them. Like I said, I'm working on a big novel involving them. So I feel you.
What you just said was pretty much like all of, you know, the end of 2016 right there. Because nobody really felt like there was much facts going around and stuff, but we finally got the energy to go far enough to the right that we chose this. We chose that side of the uniparty system. So, you know, now we're here, for better or for worse, but it doesn't matter. You know?
Oh, yeah, there is something else. Jordan, there's something, I have a task for you.
Oh.
I have something for you to do. I want you to look into something called #unrig. That's # UNRIG.
Okay.
Have you heard of this before?
No.
No. I want you to look into this and make a video if you want about it, if you could. It's a guy named Robert David Steele. He's a former spy, and he's working with a former congresswoman.
Cynthia McKinney.
Yes, Cynthia McKinney. And they are trying to bring about this thing where we unrig the system. Because, as you probably know, the system is rigged. It's pretty obvious. But they want to bring about something where we unrig the system and get away from the two-party tyranny, as they call it. But I wanted to see if you would be willing to do some research on this and maybe make a video to bring it out to more people. They're trying to spread it out to as many people as they can. He's been on InfoWars. He's been on Jordan Sather's Destroying the Illusion. He's been on many different like alternative news sites. He's been interviewed by many different people. I'm not sure if they interviewed him on Cosmic Disclosure, but I think they mentioned his. I think they mentioned the hashtag on Rig somewhere.
Cool. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, all I can say is that I've added it to my reminders list. I added it to like research, and I mean, I'll look into it. But I'll also say, just on that topic of making videos and creating things, I have experienced a lot of people being like, look into this, 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 like so
I imagine.
things and so many amazing projects. And I have like a complete respect and honoring of all of them. And if it's awesome, I'll definitely like post it on Twitter or like on Facebook, or maybe we'll make an article or whatever. And if it's really good, we'll do a video. But part of the thing is we've got so much in the pipeline between the amount of like series that we're doing. We've got the whole nutrition series, then we've got a whole source field series, we've got a new human history movie, we've got an entire tarot series and tarot deck. And that's
what are you doing with human history? What's your idea there?
We're just going back and doing the whole Sumerian tablets from the beginning. We're doing like the Tiamat and Nibiru all the way to the seeding of the human race and the Anunnaki / Nephilim, and like leading up. It's pretty much the prequel movie to the original human history movie, because the human history started off being like, well, there was these Lemurians, and we're not going to talk about those. Atlantis, and then it goes into that. This is like how we got from like
where did everyone come from?
of like humanity, and then like beyond before that too, all the way up to where Atlantis starts. And so,
my delivery zone, there's a Lemuria Drive, and I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. And the people living on it probably have no idea what's going on or whatever. But I'm like, I want to come back here more often. I feel like got something.
So yeah, as far as like making a video or whatnot about it goes, maybe. I mean, it kind of depends on what we find and what we see, and but I think bringing it up because now it's out there in this little sphere, and like now there's anybody watching this and sees it can also start doing some research and getting it out there, because like I'm all for amazing movements, light and truth, and I want to support all of them,
Mm-hmm. This is it is a little time sensitive. They're trying to push a bill through, and they want a bunch of people to ratify it. I think that's what they're trying to do. But so it is a little bit time sensitive. But yeah,
I'm
look into this. Yeah.
I'm on the board with Oklahoma Libertarian Party, like quite a few members, and like for a club that they use to train speakers, and I will see what I can't do about raising some of this to some of them and get some of them to take a look at it as well, because this is pretty in line with their goals. And I'm going to do a little more research, and I might do a video myself, because this is it's a pretty great idea. It's right in line with what I've been saying and what so many others have been saying about you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. We can't fight with guns and war and yelling and hate. We have to fight with love compassion and understanding and an openness and willingness to look at things from their perspective in such a way that they're willing to do the same for us. And that's the only way we can really create lasting change.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. To be able to like openly listen to another person's perspective without immediately jumping on it and say, you're wrong for this reason, or you're right because I agree and this and that. Like, to question it, just consider it for a while. Let the information sit there and challenge within yourself whether or not it's true or not, and then like observe that information, but not to dramatically jump to a conclusion right away. Like, stay with the information and go like, what is out there for us to learn? Well, a lot of times the expression is, it's a sign of intelligence to entertain an idea without accepting it as truth. Think about it. Like let's open the discussion so that we can share and learn from each other, because that's really, like, for me, a tremendous like growth opportunity. To be able to have a person challenge my belief system is awesome, because now I get to broaden my perspective from what their insights are or why they believe what they believe. And so if we never had that conversation, then we wouldn't grow.
I seek those things out, like I was saying on one of the last calls, because of the method I got from Jason Silva about entering the flow state of consciousness. If you don't have new experiences, then you can't trigger the right frequencies in your brain to really step into that mode. And so anytime somebody gives me a new perspective, I run with it, because it's something different. And I don't know about you, but variety is the spice of life.
Yeah. Can we see who the other guys are? I wasn't here at the beginning. The other guys on SpiritSide.
We have a great crowd. Oh, you mean these guys?
Yeah, the two beside you.
Oh, yeah. And this is Aaron. Why don't you guys talk about yourself for a moment?
All right. Well, okay, if I like wrap my whole story up really quick, I found spirit science probably in like 2013, after being really interested in like reptilians and conspiracy theories and like the really dark side of spirituality. I just wrote my bio on this for the website, so I was thinking about all this as we were talking. But yeah, I was like pretty angry, like 19-year-old or something, that I loved all the freakiness of it. And and then I found spirit science and totally shifted into the lighter side of it, and understanding like the power of your heart and love and things that I always just thought they were like cheesy or like stupid, because I was just really angry and it was like an emotional block. And it changed me so intensely that I was like, okay, I need to meet Jordan, because he lives in Canada. He's not like some big unreachable celebrity that I could never talk to. He's just like a human that I so deeply resonate with. And I had been going to school pretty much my whole life for film, and I was studying film production. So I was like, I can make videos. Let's meet. And then the universe was like lining me up to see a status a long time ago of him being like, hey, do any filmmakers want to make a documentary and change the world? And I was like, yeah. And it really flowed simply. And we were in California for a bit. And then we moved back to Canada, and I went home for a bit, and then we moved in together. And yeah, so yeah, I did a lot of the Facebook, like managing writers and pictures and that whole thing. I did some video, but I kind of did like what was needed to be done at the time. So yeah, my story.
Your turn. Myself personally, I would say I joined the spirit science team as of like fall officially last year, but would have been following spirit science as a channel for many years, interested in spirituality my entire life. But it was, again, like I had a belief system of this truth, of this love, of this understanding that was supposed to be embodied in us. To be like Christ was the understanding that I had embodied of what would Jesus do? How are you acting at that quality of honor and dignity and love for all. And so I would look at that and then hear judgments passed of every other religion is wrong and all of this stuff is sin. And I didn't see that as being what the Jesus that I resonated with would speak. And so there was a personal history that happened within my own parents and my family where there was like an excommunication of the church and there was some corruption that was happening there. And there was a lot of stuff that was coming out. I'm like, how is this like Jesus? How is this like that understanding that I was supposed to know? And so I took a couple steps back and I started studying. And then I realized that there's the potential that, well, from the Gospel of Thomas, that even Jesus himself said, like, humans are going to get this wrong. They're going to take this book and they're going to do their best. But the truth of it is that when you accept that light into yourself, you're supposed to embody and act like this. And so I started refining my belief of how I can embody that level of energy and hold an open heart and an open mind. And then there was, from the Human History movie, that understanding of the potential of Jesus going into the Middle East and learning expansive like Reiki and energy work and stuff like that and becoming a total energy healing and performing miracles incarnate as a higher being, to have been born a human but become more throughout the progression of life through diligent behavior. And so I started taking steps within myself of how can I look at the things in myself that I'm not doing that are in alignment with what I think the Jesus would be doing, and start correcting these things. And so at that time I was working a job that I didn't particularly enjoy 100%, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take a step here and I'm going to correct this. And bit by bit I started working more towards the things that I was really passionate about. And I was a musical artist in many ways, and so I had been studying things like Photoshop and design and multimedia in general, but someone had told me once, like, you can't do that. That job doesn't exist. You won't be successful. And originally I had believed this, and then it took a step back and questioned, like, actually I'm pretty sure I can do what I want. And so I started practicing my own skills, and eventually I applied to this, like, it was an office assistant job. And they looked at my resume and they were like, you have all these like Photoshop classes and some web design stuff here, and how would you like it if we made you a job based on all the stuff on your resume that you say you like to do? And I was like, people do that? And so at that moment, I sort of started realizing that your dreams do become true. And I realized that one of my dreams was to share love and light and embody what that would be like. And then through my roommates and the natural synchronicities of my life, it was like, hey, you're going to meet Jordan today. And I'm like, oh, cool. And we just like right away hit it off. Like, this is what I bring to the table, and I have something that I want to share. And Jordan was like, great, I need your, so let's do this together. And so I've been working with the studio, helping with scripts and helping with the website, and just whatever. I'm a handyman too. I've worked a whole bunch of construction, so I'll be like the guy like hanging stuff up around the house, and something breaks, I'll be like right there trying to fix it. But yeah.
This guy's amazing. So is she, actually. These are like my two my two rocks.
Spirit family.
This is my spirit family. It was yeah, it was actually just almost a little bit over a month ago now, a month and 10 days, 9 days. I don't know what day it is today on the month, but we moved into this spirit house all together, and our like the whole thing was like, let's make spirit science. Let's do it. Let's like do it for real and like really make some magic. And we've been working on all different kinds of things. Yeah, from websites to tarot to just like lots and lots of writing for the website, and of course videos and planning out scripts and videos for you know, I have this whole thing of like, I want to have a video out every single week, but we're like, let's get, you know, this website launched so that we can actually like not have to then have it on the list and can publish new videos freely. And so that's kind of why there also hasn't been too many videos in the last little while, but we're like gearing up for a big launch.
Plus
Tarot, which is so awesome. I just, you're gonna love it. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, these are my people.
How's it going with Patch Parables?
Did you say how's it going with Patch Parables?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're gonna make them more or revamp them or something.
Definitely. We actually have like 2 or 3 that were unfinished from the last batch, and I'm like, they just need some in between, some coloring, maybe some shading here and there, stuff like that. Like they're pretty close to being finished. So those are on my list too. Once the tarot and the website is done, like I'm gonna sink some time into those and just like get them out. And then like I love making parables. It's just so much fun because it keeps, you know, like Spirit Science is great because it's like, you know, it's just lots of drawing and it's more of like a long slideshow of education. Whereas the parables, I get to like get in there and like animate and like do frame by frame animation. And that's the kind of stuff that I love doing. It's just like, that's what I grew up doing and learning how to do. And like, I don't want to ever lose that skill. So I want to keep doing it. And like the parables are an excellent way to do that. And then actually this is like a secret project that's not so secret because I've talked about it before. But I'm planning on making like a fully animated The Hermetica. But in order to do that, it's just such a big project that we need like an animation team, and it's too big for myself. I've tried animating big long epics myself before. It takes like a year to do a 10-minute video. So yeah, it's like we're talking with some friends who might be coming out to help us like next year or something like that, or connecting with us to actually like some specific animators to help turn that dream into a reality. But I'm so excited because it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I wish I could upload, but like basically all I can do is furnish transfer files, some other back end coding stuff, but I can't animate, man. I got a little better at drawing a little bit a little while ago, but it's still really not my skill set.
You know, I found that was actually the thing that compelled me to learn how to draw. Because I was always like, I really want to draw, but I don't want to sit and take the time to just draw a picture. What would be the purpose? But like making a cartoon teaches me how to draw and tells a story and teaches me a bunch of other skills as well, from video editing to audio editing, and just putting them all together, and storytelling in general is definitely like has my heart. As like a
I'm guessing you're an Apple, not a PC. Do all this stuff.
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm guessing you're an Apple, not a PC, since you do all this visual stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. No,
that is so not what I heard.
An Apple. I grew up using just like a basic Windows computer, and like when I went into college, they gave us MacBook Pros, and I was like instantaneously like, holy crap, it like Flash doesn't crash. Like that was like the biggest thing, is like I have lost so many hours from just, you know, the like Flash crashing, and like I'll spend like 2 hours and forget to save, and then it all just disappears on you, and like happens, and like the ratio between the Windows to the Mac between doing that was just like no brainer. I tried going to Windows again recently, just earlier this year on the Wacom tablet, Mobile Studio Pro, and I returned it. It wasn't right for me. Well, it's not
It's
quite
like
there.
old Pokemon games. It would just crash, and I'd be like, oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, for video games, I know that Windows are definitely a little bit whole nother level.
That's what you used it for.
Yeah, but we just have like a PS3 if we were a Sega Genesis if we want to play video games. So
I do all my editing on my PC through Adobe, like Adobe After Effects and Premiere and all of Adobe. But I haven't been a fan of Mac. I tried using it a couple times, and it was just like, yeah, I will say like their stylus is so much smoother, but when it comes to just being able to do so much more at once, PC has never let me down.
cool.
I'm actually a computer tech, PC tech by trade. That's what I did before I joined the Army. PCs are just so much better. They're so much cheaper. You can mod them however you want. You can put Linux in the thing.
Oh yeah, an Ubuntu machine, right? I've never done that before. So you've installed a virtual machine before? How'd that go?
I have
did.
a Ubuntu machine, and it's incredible. And actually, if you go to Ubuntu, like the installation setups is super easy. To get your BIOS and installation into a USB, you plug it into any computer, and Ubuntu itself set up going like if you want to create a partition and a second operating system within it, it was all easily handled.
Yeah, I would say for Linux, go Ubuntu because Ubuntu is probably the best for setting up. Everything is so easy. It's Debian based. I mean, I learned on Red Hat with Fedora, but
Yeah.
Ubuntu is Debian. It's a little bit different commands and stuff, but for the most part, most of it is the same. Basic like command prompt. But they've gotten a pretty good Windows setup, point and click type of setup. It's quite a bit better than what it used to be.
There was a question that someone had asked a little while back concerning the, what was it?
There's actually
How do you guys help someone who's fallen to the dark side? I had high hopes when I found spirit science and the law of attraction worked for me, but now everything has gone to crap. And so I want to say, we've already sort of been talking about that, but as your energy goes, or where the attention, energy, you know the quote.
Where the attention goes, the energy flows.
Yeah. Focus on the positives.
Say and like look at yourself and how you are following your own conscious. If you are thinking about the things in your own head, say like I'll use the example of smoking because I've previously been a smoker. You'd be having one. If you have the thought, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway, that right there is the inner struggle that you're creating within yourself. If you're holding yourself to doing the actions that you know is in your best intention, like you will have that energy of, you probably shouldn't be doing this thing. But then if you challenge that within yourself and say, but I want to, and you hold a resonance for like sort of like an egotistical, I'm of my own free will, and even if I know that this is better, I have the choice to act against it. You absolutely do. That's a beautiful thing. But that will create karma. Cause and effect. There is like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So as we're taking the times to say, how are my thoughts creating a reaction? How are my literal physical actions impacting the world around me? If you look at the things that you do in your day-to-day life and question them, is this in my highest and best interest? And if you're not sure what your highest and best interest is, then sit there and contemplate that as an idea. And I look back at myself and I saw myself as a child having dreams and aspirations for what it was that I was going to do in my life. And then in the time where I was like working a job that wasn't in alignment with that goal or with what I really should be truly doing, things were chaotic. I had gone through essentially like a breakup with a fiance. I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost my job, I lost everything that I had, I thought I needed, and it was all taken away from me. And I ended up in like this very nasty crack house. It was like, how did I become this? Like, what happened to bring me here? And I had to realize that it was me. It was all of these actions that I had done because I thought that following the pursuit of like, it was a financial industry. I was an insurance salesman for a while. And I thought that was what was going to make me lots of money, and this money was going to make me happy in this whole paradigm. But I had to completely shatter all of that and then start back at like a humble ground one to say, what am I doing with my life and how am I moving towards my true dream? Not the illusionary, I need money and then I can have my dream. It's no. Do what you love and flow through it, and the rest will fall into place if it's supposed to be there. I think there was a quote from Illusions of Ventures of a Reluctant Messiah that goes like, anything that you want, you can have, but you'll probably have to work for it. And so there's lots of work that goes in that, and that is the tangible physical action that you have to take in your day-to-day life. It's not just having good thoughts. It's having good thoughts, then act on them.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is, "If the flower doesn't bloom, you change the environment, not the flower."
Do
And
that.
it's something that's been sticking with me. I'm a plant guy, and I left my job. I just walked right out because I kept telling them like, "Hey, I know I can do so much more for you guys, and you guys aren't willing to see that." And it just wasn't working out, so I left. And the moment I left, I was so happy. Like it was just like so much relief and stress that just left, and it was just like this feels so great. And like everybody was like, "Dude, you're just walking out. Oh my god!" And I was like, and I'm just walking out with a straight smile. Like it's super busy. I mean, they're getting slammed, and I'm just like, I don't care. Like I'm happy. Like I'm finally happy, and I'm finally free. And then since then, like everywhere I go, people just come up to me and they're just like, "Hey, let's start a conversation." And then I find out that they need someone to do some plant stuff, or they need someone who needs some video stuff shot. And it's just like, oh wow, I do all of that. It's like, yeah, let's connect. And it's just like, since one after another, people are just coming up to me, and I'm just going around, going to get like some water at the store, or I'm just like taking a nice walk, and I run into somebody who's just sitting there, and we talk, and it's just like, find out we can help each other so much. It's amazing, because getting that chance to do it is just like, I would have never had it if I never went with my gut and my stomach to just leave and actually do something to better myself. And so it's something that's put me in such a great place. And now I pretty much can travel the world just studying plants and studying biomes and everything. And it's just amazing. It's just like, I would have never had that opportunity before if I would have never been able to just say, okay, every thought in my head is telling me I need to do this for myself. And now I need to put that into a physical action.
I love that quote. Thank you so much for that. Seriously,
You're welcome. That's one of my number one favorites. That one,
I wrote it down.
Yeah, do nothing unexpected, expect nothing unexpected. And those two quotes have gotten me very far.
Very good.
I wanted to say something else about the how do you face darkness question.
Oh.
The darkness that we feel, that we feel is pressing in on us, that's an actual feeling you're having in your body. All right? And any feeling, not a sensation of pain, physical pain from your nerves, but a feeling, an emotional feeling you're getting, has a corresponding neurotransmitter that is released when triggered. That neurotransmitter lasts in your blood for only about 90 seconds before it breaks down. So anytime you have a stimulus which causes a strong emotional reaction, that first 90 seconds is from the initial trigger. If you're still feeling that at 91 seconds or further, it's that you have then re-triggered yourself. And you've done that by shifting your attention or your focus on something that hurt you or offended you. Like you were saying earlier, where the attention goes, the energy flows. Well, that's it right there. But I love that saying. But it's more about you don't even have to think about it as energy so much as you're literally the one sitting there hitting that same button in your head over and over again as you think that thought in a circle. And so until you decide to take a different turn, you're going to continue in that circle, no matter what. And so if the law of attraction worked for you really well at one point, but doesn't now, it's exactly like you were just saying, if the flower doesn't bloom, you change the environment. What about your environment has changed? What about your conditions that you described as what happy is that are different now from when they were then? And can you adjust your conditions to the point where you're happy again?
Hey, did we say hi to Karen yet?
I don't think so, but hello.
Hi.
Hey.
That was beautiful, by the way. Totally. I agree. I think that we could, overall, like if something really does happen to us and we feel some type of way, that we could transmute that energy into feeling much better. I've been listening to you guys for an hour by now. But I'm like, of course, I want to butt in. I'm like, no, I want to just go talk. I just want to say, honestly, guys, ever since I joined this chat group every 2 weeks, it's not like my life wasn't positive before, but you guys completely keep me sane, and it's so nice to like be part of this community and to share so much love. I appreciate it so much.
It wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be the same without you.
Indeed. I completely resonate with that, Karen. We were just quoting, so you just made me think of a quote. You are the result of the 5 people you spend the most time around. And I have to say that spending time with you guys definitely has raised my vibration. All of you. Thank you for your questions and your fantastic attitude, Karen. You always are a joy to talk with.
All of you guys are. I'm like getting corny now, but you guys needed some like female energy. There's like so many guys in this call.
Yes.
So I've just been like an observer, sort of sitting and like around and like breathing through and between like all these like topics and
yeah,
like,
totally.
like all this stuff. I've just been like, hey, just like, and we have like a chat underneath too. So I've been like reading that and wanting to actually like be the course, but it's kind of like next time I'll do that, I think, because but yeah, I love that because it's too much.
Yeah.
Part of I wanted to say too, for anybody who's going to be watching this video after it's live, I know that like YouTube is strange and doesn't save the live chat, which is really inconvenient. So it's sort of like this is just happening as it's happening, and you've probably seen us being like, oh, you know, like writing some stuff or whatever, and then like you'll never really be able to see what it was. So unfortunately, there's not really a workaround for that in the moment, but it's just an incentive when you see us go live and you want to engage in the chat, come and watch it live. And then you know, just otherwise, if you're watching this and it's not live, just post a comment so that it fills it up, because it's going to be published as like a blank movie, and it's kind of like there was like hundreds and like there's huge conversations that were happening here. And yeah, it's been really fun to engage. But I noticed a few times where my attention was like, okay, hold on, I'm just gonna go here for now, and then like when I have a moment, I'll like, let me just like see what people are saying. But it's all fun, and just yeah, thank you guys, thank you so much for coming and being on this call. This was so much fun.
So far,
Thank you.
did you see that class comment? I'm sorry to hear that your dad passed, but know that you have my love.
Soulfire has been with us through this entire thing, and has a lot of interesting things to say. I don't know. I can't say like he or she, but you, Soulfire, if you're watching. Well, I mean, I know you're watching, but thank you for your participation. You've had a lot of, and everybody else too, who's been commenting and stuff. It's been really cool to have you all with us.
Thank you. We'll open it up for maybe a closing meditation.
Closing meditation, we absolutely can.
Yes.
Want to go with that? That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, or
Would I like to do one? Would anybody else like to lead one?
My phone's about to die.
So,
One day.
yeah, that's then I guess I'll take it. And also, Soulfire confirmed that her dad is, and that's great. That's great.
That's awesome. She sounds so happy.
Okay, so for this closing meditation, everybody close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out the nose. And then do it again. Take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose. And as you continue to breathe in and out through the nose, deepen and lengthen the time it takes to breathe and the depth at which you're breathing. This simple act can be done at any point at any time, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, and no matter what's going on in your life. Just bringing your awareness to your breath, slowing things down when things get chaotic or hectic, and recentering yourself in your heart. Once you're back in your heart, things make sense. There's clarity of thought and feeling. And then you can go out into the world and be the change that you wish to see. Take a few more moments to stay with this breath. And put a smile on your face. Everything is exactly the way it should be. Because it is that it is. Thank you, everybody. Have yourself an amazing Sunday and week after that. And we will see you on the new moon.
Many blessings.
Peace, love, and joy.
Love you all.
Love you too. Bye.